Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fabulous, supreme conscious creators. And we're back again for another Mastermind Mondays, another fabulous Mastermind Mondays. And today we are so happy to be with the beautiful Angela. Angela's here with us after her move, after so many things going on in her life, and she's here to join us, and we're going to have a great time today. If you're here live, please hashtag live in the comments. If you're here on replay, then hashtag replay and give us some love, give us some comments, give us some questions. We love questions, we love comments, and we love hearts too. Okay, so please give us lots of hearts.
I
Okay.
love
And so,
that.
yeah, and also please click the link above this video to make sure that you give StreamYard permission to post your name and your comments. Otherwise, all we see is Facebook user. And actually, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I tried doing that with another live, and they were using StreamYard, and I kept pressing the link, and it would say, okay, now you can see your name, and still they couldn't see my name. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but well, we'll see. Okay, so welcome to Mastermind Mondays, and let's see, we're going to show our um, slideshow. So this is where we clarify and zoom in on your ideal client. And right before we do that, let's have Angela give us her beautiful introduction. Today's her first day.
Yay!
Welcome,
Thank
Angela.
you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being
I
here.
am I'm so grateful that you have asked me to do this, and I'm so grateful to be here. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out with moving. We just arrived in Victoria at our new place. Wow, shit, my parents' place last night. So I was scrambling to pull my computer and my charger and all the things out of the back of the U-Haul right now. So I'm super grateful. I'm so excited. This next journey, this next part of of these Mondays, and yeah, we're just blessed to be here. It's a beautiful sunny day, as I think you can probably see, and I'm so grateful that I get to be doing this, which I love, outside in such a beautiful location. I couldn't ask for more right now.
Super excited to have you here. And so I'm coming in from Idaho, and Angela is in, tell us where you're
Victoria.
from.
I'm in Victoria now. Yes, Victoria,
Yay!
BC. Yeah, so thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. This has
Congratulations.
been a big dream for quite some time now. And full on faith, has brought us here. And so, yeah, so excited.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We're so happy to have you here. And
Thank
also,
you.
that reminds me, please let us know where you're coming from. Um, I'm here in Idaho, and Angela's in Victoria, and tell us where you're coming from. And yeah, and also tell us what you're grateful for, because that's what we're
Right.
all about. We're grateful. Gratitude is the first step to manifesting everything that we want in our lives.
I
Just
was just gonna,
gratitude.
so true, right? If you're not grateful for the things you have right now, you won't have things to be grateful for. And I'm telling you, gratitude is a huge part of what brought me here to
Exactly.
Victoria. So yeah, it's
Wonderful.
huge, huge.
Exactly. Exactly. Good. So, yeah. So, who is your ideal client? We always do a little recap, just run through everything, all the lessons that we've done so far. And that's because it's so easy for us to forget. Repetition is the best way to get things to stick and to make sure that we have all of these ideas, all of these concepts, all of these principles present in our lives, in our work, and that we're creating this environment where we have these important steps very, very present in our lives, and that we're following these steps so that we can be successful, and so that we can move forward. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's so true, right? This consistency thing has been huge, right? I've had to really remind myself of that, especially with this move and everything, of really staying focused and staying consistent and connecting, connecting
Exactly.
with who is it ideally, I mean, it's hard to not want to help the whole world, and
Exactly.
we have the capacity to do that. But you're right. It's who is it that your heart connects with the most, right? And I know I always find for me it's easier to connect with someone who I can relate to. Going through the struggles myself along this journey and overcoming so many things, and um, that's where my heart goes to, is seeing other moms go through excuse me, go through those struggles. And that's,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why it's so important to clarify and zoom in on your ideal client. And Angela, your ideal client is moms. Um, and I'm guessing that it's moms who are single. Those is that
Hmm.
those are
It
that's
is
your
more
ideal client?
so. It is. I find for me more so going through that journey, right? It's single moms who just have that desire inside of them to want more, to want to create more for themselves and for their families, right? Their children, and just have that feeling of that need inside. That's what led me. It was that desire of wanting more that caused me really to leave everything behind, to leave the marriage, to leave the home, to do all the things to create something that I felt very drawn and passionate about. And that's where my heart goes out to, is moms who feel that, that feel that desire and that
Okay,
struggle of being
wonderful.
stuck.
Yeah,
Oh no, we're frozen. I think I lost ya.
the internet is
I
we're losing
know.
you.
I was like, I
Okay,
get you.
that's okay.
We're back.
So my ideal client was women over 40, women over 40. Like, yeah, right, women over 40. Yeah, that's a huge audience. That's a huge audience, right?
Right.
that, that's that was my ideal client when I first started. And I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. And then I would read books like Seth Godin, um, was it his one of his attraction marketing. That was one of
Oh
his
yeah.
books, Attraction Marketing by Seth Godin. And then he was talking like, I mean, if you have like a really really huge audience, you're going to be talking to no one.
Yeah.
You've got to identify, you've got to zoom in, and you don't have to have 1,000 people to be your clients. You don't even need 500. You need 100 people, 100 ideal clients. That's what you want to go for. And then, well, you don't want to have 100 clients in one day. You want to grow your audience. You want to develop that know, like, and trust factor. And to do that, you got to do that little by little. And you got to know where to find your audience. Where are you going to go that you're going to attract your audience? And where are you going to serve so that you can add that kind of value to your audience and they will notice you? And once they notice you because of your stories, because of your posts, because of your reels, and wherever you are on any social media platform, you're going to attract your ideal clients as long as you know who they are. If you don't know who
Exactly.
they are, then they're not going to notice you, and you're not going to notice them either because you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right?
So true. So true. Yeah, I learned that one for sure. And that's the thing. That's for me. That's why my group is small too. And that's what's really caused me to narrow down and get very specific about, the single moms between this age and this age of children. Because I found for me, it was easier to connect with their wants and their needs. And because I've been through that was where, um, I found that I was able to relate, and for myself, I know when I'm listening to somebody, when I can relate, when they're talking about something that connects to my heart, I'm like, oh yes, that sounds like me. You're talking about me. That is how I wanted it to be. I want my clients to be like, yes, oh my gosh, you're talking to me. And you're right.
Exactly.
You just need a small amount of people to begin with,
Yep.
right? That you can
Yep.
connect
Yep.
with. Yeah.
You just need a small amount of people, and that small amount of people is going to talk. If you are serving them and if you are meeting their needs, which is a big mistake that I did at the beginning when I first started on my journey. I thought that I was talking to all women, really, anybody who was over 40. But the reality is that I was talking to women who didn't really resonate with my values and who didn't really resonate with what I was thinking that I wanted to do. And so, because of that, then if they join your program, they won't be aligned with it. They won't be shakers and movers. They won't be passionate. They won't be active, engaged in the community because they really don't resonate with what you're saying, with your
Exactly.
values, with your core values, and they're not really aligned with who you are. And so
And they
that's why
won't
it's so
see the
important.
value too. I find that
Exactly.
they won't see the value in what this community has and what we can do, and for
Precisely.
ourselves and others. Yeah,
Yes.
that's very important.
Yes. Yes.
If they can't see the value, they're not going to have the passion about it, and that's so important. You're absolutely right
Exactly.
there, Andrea.
Exactly. And that's really, really big. If you don't see the value in something, then you're going to you're going to take it for granted. You're going to see it as trash or as something that
You
doesn't
just
make
don't take
sense.
serious. You don't take
And
it
you
seriously.
right,
And
you will
that
not
was
take it
me when
seriously.
it's true. And when I very first came in, I didn't see the value. And it's not that I thought of it as trash, but I didn't take it as seriously. I just didn't see it. And it was doing the inner work that we teach. It was doing that
Yeah.
really got me opened and really started shifting things in my mind and in my life that really got me to see the value. I'm like, wow, this is so powerful just in my own personal life. And then opening up that to the aspect of the business and everything else is so important. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So now let's begin with the spirit of gratitude
Mm.
because when we enter into the spirit of gratitude and abundance, and that means that we know that, or that you know that you are enough, that you have enough, and you do enough. Wherever you are on your journey, you are doing enough. You are being enough, and you have enough. Look around you, see the opportunities, and be grateful for that. And know that where you are, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. And everything that you're getting, everything that you're doing, everything that you are is enough. It's exactly enough. And so that is the beauty of acknowledging that. And so we see,
Yes.
let's go into, um, who's that? Is somebody here?
I hear something.
Nothing, but it's nothing after all.
That's okay.
Okay, so I
I just
easily, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to touch on that just really quickly when you were saying about, being enough and realizing that you're enough. And
Yeah,
that was one that when I started to understand that, instead of I was trying to be someone first, trying to fix things before really seeing that I was worth it now.
yeah,
And it was really a shift in my mindset through this program and through this community to realize I am that now. I'm already that. And that
exactly.
shift in we are that
Yeah.
already. And that realization was huge. So, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And whoever you are watching, please click the link above this video and give StreamYard permission so that we can see your name and your comment. And we're very glad that you're here. So I hope this
Hello.
is valuable to you and feel free to post any comments that you want. Okay, so now let's begin with the spirit of gratitude. I easily attract and magnetize my ideal clients. They are happy and eager to join this supportive, loving community. They want to invest in their growth and they want to take action. That's so important. Invest in your growth and take action. Without that, we cannot move forward. And when you start with the spirit of gratitude, you begin to understand that you are enough, you do enough, you have enough. And that's what I just put. Enter into the spirit of gratitude. I honor my goals with great responsibility so that once we make a decision, once we make a choice, because that's our God given right, that's our divine right to make choices. We have free agency. We can decide what we want to do. No one can control our life unless we allow them to. So we get to control our life. We get to own our power. And so we've got to decide to honor our goals and take responsibility for them. And
Oh, so true,
go
right?
ahead.
And that's why I think it's really important to have a goal that you're passionate about. You have desire behind it because that will move you. It will
Yeah,
move you in those moments of taking action. It's beautiful.
exactly.
It's a beautiful feeling to
Remember,
make that decision.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, remember your why. Remember your why, and your why will push you through, will help you to get over those times that are so difficult, that will be challenging, that will try you, and that will want to make you turn around and go back.
yeah,
And you never want to go back. You want to move forward. And
always forward.
it's it's the law of physics that if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards.
Exactly.
So yeah,
And this move, this decision, just for example, like this move on my way to my big goals, like this is all along my journey to where I want to be and making the decision to do this. And I was tested. I was tested in fear and worry and doubt and all those things. And it was gratitude and it was faith and it was pushing through that hello
hi
that
George,
got
thank
me
you for
here.
being
Hi.
here.
Yeah, it's just and that why that desire is going to push you through when things are
Exactly.
hard because it's not always easy, but it's worth it. And now we're here, and it was worth every step.
Precisely. So success, financial wealth, and happiness come easily to us, to
Mhm.
me, to you, to us. And I love how excited and happy my clients feel to join this program, to work independently and together as a team. Because, yeah, there's a lot of things that we have to do independently. And that's going to bring us to our topic today of journaling. That's something that is very, very personal. That's something that we got to do on our own. Nobody can make us, nobody can hold our hand, nobody can do it for us. And a lot of the things that we do here is basically that energy work is about it's this personal journey. It's really, really, truly a personal journey. But at the same time, we're also working as a team. We're working together to bring in active members in this community to get that energy to unite and have that positive energy that will move us to action, that will support us, that you always know when you're in a room full of energetic people, you just feel that vibe, right?
You
And
do. It's
whenever we're doing
powerful.
lives, yeah, when
Yeah.
we're doing lives or when we're doing events or when we're doing master classes, we can feel that positive, that love, that synchronicity that goes hand in
That
hand.
oneness. I feel like it's the oneness,
Yeah,
right? And that's a word I
exactly.
love. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
one.
love that oneness, unity, and
Mm-hmm.
integrity, integral, and yeah, and it goes hand in hand with building trust, building the know, like, and trust factor. Because when you trust each other, when you have that trust factor with each other, then you know that you're going to have each other's backs and that you're going to be able to rely on other people to help you. You're going to be able to encourage each other, and you're going to be able to move forward because you know that you have a community behind you. And so and that's something that I really feel with Brianna. She's there to encourage us, she's there to
Support
push us,
us.
to support us,
Mm-hmm.
and as long as we are also on that same
Right,
frame
we
of
gotta hold ourselves accountable too,
yes,
right? You know,
exactly,
that's key
exactly.
too, right?
Yep,
But you're
that is
right.
the key.
We're, yeah, it is key. It absolutely is. And I think like when you're talking about community and stuff, we're really building. I like friendships. With this community, to me, has been about the friendships that I've created, those relationships that go beyond just that community. It's outside of it as well. I feel like that's to me is so important in watching and helping and being all part of seeing other people grow and
Exactly.
helping them along that journey, and just seeing that everybody doing that is beautiful. It's a
Yep,
beautiful feeling.
exactly. Exactly, Angela. And that brings me to our next point. So how do we move forward consistently? We have to know what it is that we're offering our clients. Do we have a product that our clients need? Do we show up authentically? Do we oops, sorry. Do we show up,
It's getting too excited.
yeah. Do we show up with a clear focus for our ideal clients? And you're talking about getting to know our ideal clients, building relationships with our ideal clients. You just talked about that, Angela. And also showing up with value. What are we giving our clients? What is it that we're giving them that's going to help them on their journey? And usually our clients are a step behind our journey.
Right.
We're usually a step ahead. And so what the experience that we've had is going to serve them. So our pain is going to be their gain, and that's why they're going to want to align with us, because whatever we've experienced, they're going to be able to get value from that.
Right. And I think that's where the authenticity comes in, and I think that's how your client relates to you, because you know who your client is, so you know what their struggles are, and you've been through it. So you're able to offer that knowledge and that support to show them that there's light. There's light at the end. We've been there, we've done that, and here we are at the other side of that. And I think that's what builds that connection and that authenticity.
Exactly. And you were talking about value, Angela. You just said when we first started, you talked about value, that if your client doesn't know the value of your product, they're not going to be able to understand why it is that it costs that they need to invest in themselves, and why is it that this product is so valuable on their journey. How is it that it's going to affect their journey and impact their journey on a positive level.
Right.
So it's really, really important that our ideal clients understands what it is. Well, first of all, it's important for us to know what it is that our clients want,
Yes.
and what are the costs for the client. So what are they going to have to do? What are they going to have to sacrifice to be able
Mhm.
to be part of this community and be able to take part in this value, and understand what it is that our product has for them. So when your ideal clients already value your product or service, you get to share a precious gift with them that makes them successful, financially independent, and in charge of their own destiny. And everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. They want to be financially independent, in charge
Yeah.
of their own destiny.
And I think that's, when you say about that, when we talked about the value, and I think that because we see it now, Andrea, we know the value in this because it's led us, to where we are. And so sharing those experiences and talking about it and living it is, I think, what helps our clients see the value in it as
Exactly.
well.
Yep.
Right. And
Yep.
that,
Exactly. Exactly. So talk the talk and walk the walk. And
right.
it's all about integrity. It's all about trust. And so when we go into the program and we go through the modules and we understand what the modules are asking us to do, and we do it. We actually do it. We take the steps, and we take action, and then we begin to learn. And it's not until we begin to take action that we actually begin to learn, and it starts
That's
to
right.
stick. The ideas, the strategies, the tactics, it doesn't stick and doesn't become us. We don't make it a part of us until we actually start
To do
engaging
it.
with it, doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that was me in the very beginning. I wasn't doing that, and it was when I started going back and realizing there's a lot of value here, and I started taking the action steps, one step after the other step after the other step, that it started to align for me, and things started to fall into place, and it started working.
Yeah,
And that's when I saw the value, and I was like, wow, this is powerful, and
yeah.
this is what I want to share. I want to share this beautiful experience with everyone else, with all these other women and moms. And yeah,
Exactly.
it's doing
When
it.
you see the value, that's when your passion starts to show. That's when the energy starts to connect with others.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to be skeptical. You're going to say, "Well, I don't really know how to do that, and it's so difficult, and it takes so long, and I'm so overwhelmed, and I'm so confused."
Yeah.
And so, if you have that kind of vibe, then who's going to want to join you?
Your clients are going to pick up on that vibe, and when you're overwhelmed and you don't understand things yourself, they're going to see that and feel that. And
Yeah.
who wants to learn from somebody who's sending off those vibes, right? No,
Exactly.
you have to be in
Exactly.
alignment yourself first.
Yes, yes, yes. So how will it, so always ask yourself, how will my client perceive the benefit of this program? How are they going to perceive the benefit? And perception means that they will pick up the vibes that you're sending out. They will feel what you're feeling. If you don't trust the program, if you don't believe in the program, if you don't understand the program, they're going to feel exactly the same way. And they're just going to feel this skeptical, they're going to have these skeptical feelings and thoughts,
Yeah.
and they're going to run the other way, and that makes a lot of sense. If people don't trust what you're promoting, then
Right.
of course
Right.
they have to. If they're smart, they're going to run the other way. And
You
so
would,
yeah,
if I mean,
i,
put
I
yourself
would.
in their shoe, right? If you're not feeling that connection with your mentor, they're not going to feel it with you.
Yes, yes. So ask yourself also, how does the product help them to achieve their goals? And how does this product help me to achieve my goals? I know in my experience, when I first joined the Conscious Wealth Creators community, I didn't really understand the product immediately, but I had this sense because of my sponsor, because the person came in who talked to me about this program, because I could sense that they really, really believed in the program, and they had this positive vibe, and they had this enthusiasm about it, that I thought, wow, that's interesting. I would love to check it out. I would love to find out more about it. And so I did, and the more I found out about it, the more I learned, and the more I liked it, the more it really aligned with what I was looking for. And that's something that I had been writing. I've been writing all these ideas and all these thoughts, what I wanted, what are my
Yes.
problems, what are my desires, what are my goals. And so I was writing about that. And then when I came into this community, it the answers came, and it was like, wow, I love this. I love this
Yeah.
community.
And I think just listening to what you just said there about how you were writing out, what your wants and your desires and what you were writing it out, and then you came into this community. And I think right there is very key.
Yeah.
You were thinking it, you were feeling it, you were writing it, you were putting it out, and and this community came to you. That has been
Yeah.
such a big experience. And it's funny because I was just talking about journaling with my father this morning when we started talking about this. And journaling is huge. It's a huge thing for me. It's something I've done for a long time. And that's exactly right. This
Yeah.
community has come because it is in alignment with all of the things that resonate with me. And
Exactly. It
journaling is
is.
huge. It's, yeah.
So yeah, so it's just setting the intention. We set the intention, and we ask ourselves, does our product elevate or decrease the perceived status of your client? Because you know you're looking at, your ideal client is looking for something that's going to benefit them. And if it benefits them, it means that it's going to raise their status. Whether it's financial status, whether it's social status, whether it's emotional status,
Yeah.
status has a really huge part in the decision making process. If it's going to diminish my status, then I'm going to ask, how much is it going to diminish it? And when I mean diminish my status, is financially. If I'm going to invest $2,000, $3,000 in a product, then what am I going to get back? Is
Right.
is is that sacrifice less than what I'm going to get back, or is what I'm sacrificing more than what I'm going to get back? I'm going to think about that,
Right.
and if what I'm sacrificing right now is more than what I'm going to get back, then I don't want to do it.
Of
It's just
course,
human
right?
nature, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, yes, it's that energy connection. I feel like that's really, if it excites you, if you as a mentor or whatever are passionate about it, and you know the value, and you are putting the energy out there of that value. I mean, I know personally the investment in this is nothing in comparison to the return on investment, right? And so um, knowing that, and knowing what it is that your client, your ideal client is searching for, on that, it's all about the feeling. Everything really, whatever it is that you want, it's about the feeling you're going to get from it at the end, right? I think. And um, if your client is able to feel what that this is going to do for them, it is such a return on investment. And I think that's really key, is to understand that.
Exactly. And so many times, Angela, well, I before I came into this community, I invested in three other programs, and every time I invested, initially I felt really good about the program, and I thought, okay, this is what I want. This is the route that I want, because at the beginning I knew zero about digital marketing, zero about the social media. So I had no idea. You don't know what you don't know. So I had to start somewhere. But along the way, I understood that, yeah, people talk about creating that know, like, and trust factor. But in the end, if you create that know, like, and trust factor just to get the client to join the program, and then the client falls by the wayside, if that client begins to feel distrust or disalignment in any way, shape, or form, then then you're going to lose that client, and it's going to be a waste, and it's just going to be a loss of energy and loss of trust, loss of focus, loss of opportunity. So the
Right.
that creating that that know, like, and trust factor is not just short term, it's really, really long term. You're looking at a long term relationship. You're looking to date this person, you're looking to
Yeah.
get engaged with this person, and you're looking to get married with this person. So it's
Right?
a
You want to see
long-term
this person
relationship.
succeed just as much
Yeah.
as you want to succeed. You want to see them
Yes.
achieve their goals, their desires from a place of your heart. Like you got
Yeah.
to truly want that for them, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I think if you go in it with that thought and you carry that through and you're excited for them,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
should be
And
going into it.
right, and you can't, when you're doing everything that you can to help that person, but that person just decides that they don't want to be part of the program, or they don't align with the program, then, well, there's nothing else you can do. You've got to learn. You also have to acknowledge that, and also let go of the situation, and just say, okay, this is not in alignment, and and it's
Absolutely.
okay. It's okay, because we're all learning. That person is learning. That person has gotten some value out of being in that program, and you have gotten value as well, because you're learning exactly what kind of clients you want to work with.
Absolutely.
So it's a
Yeah.
really good experience, but at the same time, you got to learn to you've got to have certain elements in your tool bank, in your
Yeah.
toolbox, and that's to be reliable and be transparent, be proactive, and be available. So you're reliable. That means that your client is going to have trust, is going to trust you. You're transparent, you're honest, you know what you're talking about, and when they ask questions, you give the right answer, and that means you're being transparent. You're proactive, you're taking action, you're taking daily action steps, you're following the program, you understand the program, you know the value of the program. So you're proactive because you're taking action. You're not just waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. And then you're available. That means when your client needs something, you're going to be
Yeah.
available for them,
Yeah.
and that's really, really important. That's good customer service, really. it's
It
it
is.
basically it's the basics of customer service.
And I was just gonna say, I just feel like this that falls into life in general. Be the best version of yourself, and people, your clients are watching all the time. That's something I've learned along this journey. Sometimes thinking, oh, nobody's watching, and you know what? Yes, they are, because I've had people reach out to me and they're like, oh, that was exactly what I needed to hear in this moment, and I was like, I didn't even know you saw that, but yeah, they do. It's
Exactly. Your
right.
audience are watching you, and they may not be taking action yet, but when
They're paying
something
attention.
resonates with them, when something clicks, they're going to take action. And yeah, people are paying attention. Yes,
Yeah.
I've many of the clients who I've had, um, I had no idea that they were paying attention
Right. It's so
because
true.
they
Yeah.
didn't engage in my posts. So I had no
Yeah.
idea that they were there. And all of a sudden, one day, they just said, I really like what you said in this post, and I want to talk with you. And I was like, okay. And then they just had questions. They asked me questions. I answered them, and they said, okay, this sounds like exactly what I want, what I've been looking for. And they were in.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything that you say, everything that you do is is noted.
It
Yeah,
is making an impact. That's a thing I think when I'm thinking about that too, when I'm doing, my posts and my lives and stuff. You are making an impact to somebody, whether you know it or not, and it is causing a ripple effect. You've made someone's day in one way or another, and that's going to cause a ripple. And I
exactly,
see that.
exactly. And so last week we talked about Reid Hoffman. He's the LinkedIn founder of LinkedIn, and he said he's often quoted as saying that an entrepreneur is someone who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on the way down. And I found that to be true in my own experience. When I was
Yeah.
27, I started building this business, this brick and mortar business. And it was like that. It was pretty much like jumping off a cliff and just building my wings on the way down. And sometimes it was really terrifying, but but that thrill, that anxiety, that stress of building something that you don't really know what it is, but you're just asking yourself questions, and you've got adrenaline going in your veins, and you're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? I don't know how to do this. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
gets your mind working and it gets you moving. So documenting your journey is really, really important. um, I,
Absolutely. Yeah.
go
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just agreeing that when you were talking about like, oh, building a plane on the way down. To me, that's faith. That's just building on the faith. Like, you have your
the
desire
answers
and
will
you want,
come.
they will. And
Yeah,
yeah, they will. When you just do it. You know what? Just do it, go in, and it does. If you want it, it will happen. You have
exactly.
faith.
So
Yeah.
and you got to and most of it is that you got to know what the process looks like, so that it's productive and so that you feel productive because you're seeing results. And it doesn't have to be big results. It can be small baby steps before. So when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed, you start to think, you start to brainstorm. And that's where journaling comes into play. You start writing, okay, what did I do today? And what were the successful points about my journey today? What were the positive elements? What were the negative elements? And it's not that we're getting stuck in the negative. We're just acknowledging, okay, so this happened today. Okay,
Yeah.
it wasn't perfect, and yeah, I made a mistake here, but okay, what were the good things? What were the good points about today?
Absolutely.
And so you start
Yeah.
thinking, you start preparing, and you start reflecting on what you did before and what
Yeah.
you did in the past. That's why the past is good. It's not good to to dwell
To stay in it, right? But
to
yeah,
stay
you
in
need
it.
the past
Yes,
um to grow, to learn, to be like, look how far I've come. This
exactly,
was the past, and that's okay because the past has led me to where I am. So you need the past for sure. You just
exactly,
don't want to get
exactly.
stuck in it. That's all.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's
precisely.
all part of the process.
And you can only connect the dots looking backwards. So
Yeah,
you gotta connect the dots looking backwards. And as you connect the
absolutely.
dots looking backwards, then you can start planning for the future. You can start
Yes.
looking at your present, and then you can start planning for your future. So you're trying to connect the dots. What did I do? Where did I fail? And it's not to punish yourself, but just to acknowledge and to to clarify where you're at. And
Yep.
so then during, so okay, so then let's say you wake up the next morning and you start, okay, so now I thought about it last night, I've got some ideas today, now I'm going to take action. Okay, so what are your priorities? You start with priorities. What is it that I need
Right.
to do first? What is it that I need to do second? And what is it that I'm going to accomplish today? And you don't
Yeah.
have to accomplish everything in one day, but
Right.
you want to prioritize. Prioritizing
Yeah.
is very, very important because you want to be productive and efficient.
Absolutely. And I just was thinking, just touching on a little bit about having a list of things to accomplish. And I've really learned to just have like six things on my list, and you
Yeah,
know and prioritize them. Absolutely. And I think most important is, it gives you focus for your day. Otherwise your mind can be chaotic, and you're all these things you need to do, and you don't accomplish any of them until you have a list and you go through them, and you just feel like you've accomplished. It's a sense of accomplishment throughout the days. I think it's really important in the journaling process.
exactly, exactly. So we go before, we go during, and we go after. And really, if we really think about the before and the after, it's the same thing. It's really the same thing. What matters is the present, what we're doing right now in this very moment. Because
Mhm.
because the next thing that we're going to do is going to be in the present. We haven't, if we think about the future, we really haven't done anything. We're just thinking about it. We're reflecting, and we're looking at the past, and we're reflecting on the past things that we did, but we really can't do anything until the future becomes the present. So when we think about what happened after, what's going to happen after, then it's really what we've prepared in the past. Really, it's actually those steps that we've taken in the past that brings us to the present. And then in the
Absolutely.
present, we start thinking about the future, but the future is actually what the present
It's
that we're
present.
planning for. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
So
it's all this connection of the process, right? And when we
yeah,
understand that, what we're seeing right now is based on what we did yesterday, well, what we see tomorrow is based on what you do today, right? And
exactly.
it's, yeah,
Exactly. It's a cycle. It's a
it is a
cycle.
cycle. Yeah.
Oops, what did I do here? Okay.
Gonna put my chair up. The hot sun is creeping its way up onto my back. I love it. It's like,
Okay. Yeah, sorry
we're
about that.
gonna move.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the value of journaling. So, the value of journaling. And so, we're talking about pen, paper, power. And it really truly is. It's about a pen, it's about paper, and it's about power. And I've got since I started this journey, maybe yeah, it was like yeah, 10 months ago. I finished one whole journal. I finished two journals. I
Oh,
finished
I love
these
it.
are little journals, three journals. I finished four
Oh,
journals.
look at you go. It's like, that's so funny. I love that.
I
Most
finished.
of my stuff is in my U-Haul currently, but I'm telling you, just in a couple of days, yes, journal, journal,
Yep. You know,
all the time.
I stopped buying journals. I stopped buying these fancy journals because really the only thing that you need is a just you just need a
Just a
notebook.
notebook.
Basically a notebook. That's all you need to
Yeah,
journal. And you need your
and it's
pen, and that's it. You just need a regular notebook. You don't need anything fancy to do your journaling. It's just a nice notebook that doesn't fall apart, and that's what you do. You just start journaling. So
absolutely.
Anne Frank is quoted as saying, I can shake off everything as I write. My sorrows disappear, my courage is reborn. And I have felt like that many, many a times when I have written in journals. And it's not that I'm going to dwell on negative things, but I'm just going to shake it off. You're just shaking it off. And that's
Yeah.
so in alignment with our energy, our energy work that, Brianna will tell
Yes.
us, okay, think about where you are right now, the your limiting beliefs. Think about what's stopping you. Think about the things that are bothering you. Think about the things that are frustrating
Hmm.
you, and then just write it all down. Just write it, and that's journaling. That's
Yes.
exactly what we're doing. It's journaling.
Yeah.
So write it all down. Okay, now stop there. Now shake it off. Just shake it all
Yeah.
off. She tells us to
Yes.
shake it off, and that's what it is. We shake it off onto paper,
Yeah.
and we just set it there. And then, she says, well, okay, now think about where you want to be. What is it that you want to do? What is your end result desire?
Yes.
And what do you want? What would you love to do? What would you love to have? Where would you love to be? Who would you love to meet? And so you start writing all these ideas. I would love to blah 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 blah, and I would love to, and I would love to, and I'm so grateful. And so then you have this gap. You have a gap from where you were, where you are in this negative mindset or this limiting belief mindset and this scarcity mindset to an abundant and full of gratitude and full of growth mindset. And then you have this gap, right? And then in this energy work that we're doing with Brianna, then she says, okay, now that you've written the bad stuff, now that you've written the good stuff, okay, what is the gap? What is it going to take? What is the bridge? What is it going to take for you to get from point A, which is your limiting beliefs or
Yeah.
the situation that you're at right now, to point B, where you're going to achieve your goals? And so, what is that bridge? What do you need to do? What are the action steps that you need to take? Go ahead. Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah, I was just thinking about that, like when we were talking about the journaling and how important it is to to write that stuff out. We lots of times in this line of work we hear, when you have these negative thoughts, and get rid of them right away. But it's really important in this process to do just that, to write them out, to get them onto paper, get them out of you. It's okay to have them. You just don't want to dwell on them, right? But it's
Exactly.
part of the process to
Exactly.
moving forward.
Yeah.
And it is really important to look back from where you are right now, where you were, to where you are now, to where you want to be. And that's the bridge from where you were to where you are, and where you want to be. And so, yeah, I just
Exactly.
wanted to touch base on that. I thought that was really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the beauty of journaling. That's the beauty of writing
Yes.
things down. And it can be at any time. It can be in the morning, it can be in the evening, it can be during your break. It any time of the day. You don't have to have a specific time. However, some people say that, well, for me, journaling before I go to bed is better because it starts the before um, that
For the morning.
preparation before,
Yeah.
and where I can sleep on that, those ideas,
Yeah.
those thoughts, I can sleep on it, and then I can wake up in the morning, and then I can wake up fresh, and I can start thinking about, oh yeah, something, I'll have
Right.
questions, something like, to move from problem focused, we need to move to solution focused. Yeah, so it's okay to have those problems, because
Yeah.
that's the only way that we're going to find solutions, right? We
That's
have to have
right.
a problem before we can find a solution. So we find the problem, we identify the problem, and then we start brainstorming ideas to find solutions. So be solution focused. It's not like we dwell on those problems and we're like, no, I'm terrible. I can't do anything. I'm just no good. And you don't dwell on that. You just set it aside, and then you start finding solutions, brainstorming those solutions. So when you begin to write, you develop insight. What is it that happens when you start writing? Well, you start developing this insight because you start asking questions. You start this emotional healing, because when you acknowledge your frustrations, when you acknowledge your stress, when you acknowledge your anxiety, then you give yourself room to be who you are, and to love yourself, to really accept yourself for who you are, even though you are upset, even though you are stressed, even though you are miserable, even though you are mourning, you still love and accept yourself for who you are, and you love
Absolutely.
everything about you, because it's your experience, it's your journey.
It is. And I think there's a lot of, ebbs and flows. It's not always going to be smooth sailing. That's just not the way that life always is. And to accept that and to understand that, okay, this is okay. It's okay to feel this way.
Yeah.
It's when we stay in it too long that then we need to do a little bit of a shift and go back to what would I love it to be? What is the best case scenario? But yeah, allow ourselves, to have that and to experience that and love ourselves. That's what makes us who we are, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, precisely. So you begin with your emotional healing, which is really important, and you begin to have this insight, and then you begin the growth of and abundance mindset, and then you start to have this feeling of gratitude, because wow, you've had all these thoughts, you've brainstormed all of these ideas, you've shaken off all these feelings that you have in your mind and your heart, and now you're at a place where you're ready to ask yourself questions. And what questions do you ask yourself? How do you begin to solve a problem? So, how do I begin to solve this problem? Why does writing by hand make learning easier? And how can writing improve your memory? How can writing be a form of meditation? And how can writing by hand enhance creative expression? So a lot of people will say, well, I can just use my phone, my cell phone, and just type up some questions. But something about writing, there's research that confirms that writing really, really connects your
Mhm.
action. It's like
Yeah.
total. In education they call it total physical response. So when you are writing using your fingers, using your pen, using this your digits, your
Mhm.
your your body to
Right? It's part of
write.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I think it
part of
gets the
you.
energy. For me, I find that there's this energy that comes from within,
Yeah,
and it's I'm expressing it through through my fingers, through to my pen. And
yeah,
you're right. I do find a huge difference when I'm writing, when I'm actually writing, as opposed to just like, doing something on my phone or my computer. It's not the same flow. The energy doesn't flow as smoothly as it does through the pen. I feel like it's an
exactly.
interconnection.
Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. I'll tell you a story. When last March, when I went to Brianna's retreat in England,
Yeah.
I my daughter took me to the airport, and I had my journal. I had my journal, and I had my pen, and I had a little book that usually I read, and I had it in a bag, and I didn't want to put it in my backpack or my luggage because I didn't want to forget it. Well, I put it in the car, and I guess what? I forgot it.
Got it. Of
I
course.
forgot it. So when I get to England, and I just like, I was like, okay, great. I forgot my journal. I forgot, I left everything that I need. And so I thought, okay, I'll just use my computer, and I'll just type everything in the computer, and I'll just do my journaling in the computer. Oh my goodness, I felt so awkward. It was just like, it wasn't the same.
Same.
It was just completely out of my comfort zone. And thank goodness Brianna gave me she gave me, oops, I don't have it here, but yeah, I don't have
Some
it here.
paper and a pen. Something.
Well,
Yeah.
no, she actually gave me a scheduler. She
Oh.
gifted me a schedule, and I was like, yes, thank you. I forgot my journal, and that felt so
That's
good
the universe aligning for you,
to
right?
have a pen. And it was funny because the name of the scheduler said "Focus on You."
Of course it did.
Yeah, but yeah, it's journaling. Many, if you don't have experience journaling, once you start, it may feel um, it may feel like it takes you out of your comfort zone. It may feel strange and awkward, but it is a wonderful way. It truly is a
Yes.
wonderful way to bring
Even
out the
if
best in
you,
you.
it does. And I just quickly on that before we move on, but just even if you don't, because sometimes, I hear from people, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. If you just start with a word, just write out one word and just write out what comes to you in that word. And before long, you'll find you have so much to write. It just starts coming. But if you're stuck in that moment, just write out a word, write out love, write out
Yeah,
whatever, and then things will start to come.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And you know what? Another slide. I think it didn't save. So I had
That's
another
okay.
slide.
It wasn't meant for right now.
Yeah, yeah, I guess not, huh? I guess not.
It's
Yeah, well,
okay.
we're almost at an hour. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's really important when we start writing, when we start journaling, to ask ourselves questions. And
Yeah.
some of those questions are: is it true? Um,
Right?
is what I'm feeling true? Um, is what is the answer? Um, what am I looking for? What is the next action step? That's something really big that Brianna talks about. She talks about when we're
Mhm.
doing the energy work. She talks about, okay, find out where you're at. What are your frustrations? What are you feeling right now? And then find out where you want to be, and then that gap. And then when you find out that gap, when you figure out where you are and where you want to be, you got to create that bridge. And what is it that you got to do? And that bridge is the action steps. What are the action steps that are going to get me to my next level,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
achieving my goals?
And yeah, and I love that because that's really important. This is where you want to be, and there's things that need to
Yeah,
happen in there. And for myself personally, I find it helps me. It's easier for me to do those action steps when I connect with that person, that version of myself who I need to be
yeah,
to have that. And so I find connecting those dots from that point,
yeah,
looking back, right? Because we know that we have to connect the dots looking backwards. So you have to
exactly,
connect with who it is that you want to be when that wish filled is there. What did you do to get there, right? And
exactly,
yeah, is that what I wanted to say?
exactly.
That really
But
came. That really hit me. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes when we're journaling or when we're writing our thoughts, we realize that everything that we've done up to now is everything, all our experiences, and everything that we've experienced, and everyone that we've met, and everything that we've done has led up to this precise point. that
Yes.
where, and then we have to decide, okay, which way am I going to go? And by asking that question, what is it that I'm supposed to do next?
Yeah.
Then you get inspired, and inspired thoughts lead to inspired feelings, and inspired
Yes.
feelings lead to inspired actions.
Yeah.
And when you take that action, because of those thoughts that you had, because of that inspiration that you had, because of that feeling, and you take inspired action, then it's like a compass. It's like your internal compass. It's taking you where you're supposed to be. And you may not think that it is. You may think,
Mhm.
you may want to resist that. You may want to resist the fact that you're going to go somewhere where you didn't really plan. And it doesn't really
Right.
matter. At the end of the day, what matters is, was that an inspired thought?
Mhm.
Was that did you have a good feeling when you got that inspiration?
Because
And
it is about feeling. Feeling is key. And I just wanted
yeah,
to say that in there, in the whole thing, it's really, that's why we have feelings. I think it's a reminder of, if you're feeling good, your thoughts are good. If you're feeling bad, your thoughts aren't good. And that's where you want to balance it out. You want to be thinking thoughts
yeah,
of getting to where you want to be, right? And
exactly,
that's
exactly, exactly. And when you have those thoughts, when you have those negative thoughts and you write them down, then you get clarity and insight, and you realize that, I had that negative thought because something happened, or
yeah,
because somebody said this, or because this doesn't make sense. So you start getting clarity. And when you're looking for your ideal audience, when you're looking to communicate with your ideal audience, to attract and magnetize your ideal audience, you want to ask questions. You want to ask yourself questions. Is this
mhm,
really, and so that's something that I didn't do at the beginning, and that
right,
and I have to take responsibility for that. I didn't ask myself, is this
right.
truly my ideal audience? I thought that this would be my ideal audience, but really, if I had asked that question, I would have gotten an answer. I would have
Right?
gotten the right answer. And so
Yep.
we should never ever be afraid to get the answer,
No.
because the
And
other,
give ourselves time. That was one for me. I would ask the question, and then I wouldn't, I felt like I didn't get an answer.
yeah,
So
yeah,
give yourself that time. It will come. It might not be in this moment, it may be tomorrow, but
right.
ask the questions and then allow the answers to come. That's
Yes,
key, I
yes,
think.
yes. So patience is really key. It's
It
like,
is.
when you do things hastily, when you do things in haste, you you may end up having to do things over and over and over.
Because you're not in alignment at that moment. Your actions are not in alignment.
Exactly, exactly. So it's always good to when you're journaling, when you're writing down your thoughts, to think about it, and to allow the answers to come to you, not to just, oh, no, I've got the
Yeah.
answer. Well, no,
Yes.
let the answers come to you. Take time to get the answers. So,
Yeah.
well, and when I'm talking about time, and I'm not talking about 1 week. It can just be the night before you asked a question. You asked
Yeah.
yourself a question, you wrote it down, and sleep on it. Sleep on that
Yeah.
question, sleep on that concern, sleep on that idea. And then the next morning, you will find clarity. You will
It
find
you
clarity that
will.
you never expected. And you're like, oh my goodness, yes, the answer. You might
Yes.
even dream. You might even
Right?
dream the answer. And it's just
Yeah.
like the most awesome feeling
It
when you
is.
dream the answer. I've had that
Yeah.
experience, and it's incredible. It's an incredible experience when you
It
ask
is.
a question, when you ask a concern, and you feel passionate about it, and then you get an answer in your dreams. That is so cool.
Right? It is. And that's where the consistency, just quickly before we go here, but consistency is the more often you get into the process of asking yourself the questions and listening for the answer, the quicker they come. And the
Yep.
more you know. And it's like you're having a conversation with yourself. And it's
Yes.
just a beautiful thing. So yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And the last thing about journaling is that you can track your progress. When you journal, you are able to track your progress, because you're able to see day by day what you're doing right, what's not working, and how far you've come to whatever point you're at. And so it's a great way to gauge your process, your progress,
Yeah.
and also understand the process that you're going through. So
Yeah.
yeah, journaling. documenting your journey. It's a wonderful way. And I hope you got lots of value from this live today. George, thank you for being here. If you have any questions, please type them up. Ask some questions. If
Yeah.
not, then that's okay. Maybe we're doing a great
Right?
job. I don't know. Thank you for
It
attending
feels
this.
good. Nonetheless, if nothing else, it feels
Yeah.
good. And that's what matters,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, you too. So let's end with the spirit of gratitude and
Mm.
let us know what was your biggest takeaway. Thank you for the session. Thank you, George. And
Thank
thank you for
you.
being here. And until next week, all good. Thanks, George. Take care. Thank you. Let us know
Right.
what was your biggest takeaway for today, okay? What did you learn from this session, this mastermind session? And Angela, thank you so much for uh, being here
I'm so
and
grateful.
so happy for your everything that's going on in your life, your
Thank
progress
you.
and your new beginnings. And we're
Yes.
excited to have you next week as well. Bye
I'm so
bye.
excited.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, George. Take care. Thank you.